Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our session today. Before we get started, we want to say how honored we are to be a sponsor of this event and a longstanding technology partner with DonorPerfect. Who are we? We are Qgiv, and we provide nonprofits like you with a platform of online fundraising solutions to help you raise more in support of your mission. We're here to help you in your fundraising journey every step of the way, and again, are very grateful to be part of this event. We appreciate you taking time from your busy schedules. My name is Kimberly Funk, and I am part of the Qgiv team, and I am joined by my colleague, Brendan Smith, and together we are here to share some great reasons to keep a virtual fundraising event on your calendar. And as part of the community theme of the conference, we are sharing one of our nonprofit friends, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Utah, and their story on making the jump to a virtual event. So when you go camping, what do you take? A tarp and a poncho just in case it rains, a first aid kit in case someone hurts themselves, extra socks in case yours get wet, spare batteries for your flashlight. You don't want to get rained on or hurt or left in the dark, but you do want to be prepared to navigate the unknown. And nothing drove home the importance of preparing for the unknown quite like 2020. In early 2020, COVID-19 made its way to the United States, and all at once, nonprofits had to rethink their fundraising strategies. Fundraising events were canceled or moved online, facilities closed as lockdown measures were put in place, and staff adjusted to working from home while they worked to meet their community's needs under these difficult circumstances. So that's why we surveyed nonprofits and donors to learn how each group responded to the events in 2020. And they gave us a bird's eye view into nonprofits' fears and expectations, strategies and ideas, and how donors supported their favorite nonprofits and causes. And the result was our report, Navigating the Unknown, 2020, findings to future-proof your fundraising. So what did we find? Nonprofits added virtual fundraising events to their calendars and explored other ways of getting their donors engaged. Even as we go back to normal, virtual and hybrid events should continue to be important parts of your fundraising strategy as donors want to participate remotely. Your nonprofit's donor base is unique, and the combination of fundraising tools you've used in the past is different than what you're using today and won't necessarily look the same in the future. More than half of the nonprofits surveyed said they offered new giving options to their donors. Fundraisers responded with creativity, and the internet lit up with creative virtual fundraising events. More than half of all of nonprofits moved their events to a digital format. Virtual and hybrid events will feature heavily in nonprofits' fundraising calendars going forward, as almost 70% of nonprofits plan on incorporating virtual participation options in their event schedules, whether they're running hybrid events, virtual only events, or a mix of virtual and in-person. Nonprofits are focusing on offering virtual participation options to their supporters. And why not? Virtual events are a great option during times of difficulty. As they keep donors safe, they make events more widely accessible to people in a variety of circumstances and are often associated with lower overhead costs. Relationships. They play an essential role in the success of any organization, especially those in the nonprofit sector. So whether it is a relationship within your organization, with an external partner, donor, client, volunteer, success is dependent on the support from others. We love learning more about what our clients do. What are they passionate about? And how can we make their jobs easier? And one of our clients, Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Utah, inspired us with what they've been able to do to make a difference in the world. And again, we have been happy to help. While going from in-person to virtual can be a jarring experience, it can also be smooth and seamless with the right tools and preparation. For example, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Utah started off their annual Bowl for Kids' Sake 2020 as scheduled. It was a bowling event every Saturday of the month of April. But due to the pandemic, they realized they wouldn't be able to hold their event as planned, and they pivoted to a virtual do something for kids' sake. And it was a 4-month hybrid event with supporters doing any kind of activity from hiking, biking, knitting, singing, you name it. even napping, and all to support the organization and the valuable work that they do. So as you see these numbers, you may be curious to know how their 2021 event went. They went back to in-person, and they did a 2-month bowling event and reached 88% of their $55,000 goal. Interestingly, they saw 72 registrants, 81 teams, and 224 donors. So it appears when you compare 2020 to the 2021 event, they had higher engagement with the virtual format. So given this success with their 2020 peer-to-peer, they decided to host their annual 2020 auction virtually. So each fall, they host Chef and Child, but in 2020, they pivoted their annual gala to an online virtual event, a magical night in. They opted to make the event free for all attendees and had a creative and yummy option for attendees to upgrade their experience by purchasing a VIP interactive basket or an in-home chef experience for that added touch of magic. They live streamed their event on Facebook Live. They made sure to showcase some of their unique auction items, such as a custom mural or a trip to St. Thomas. They told their story by showcasing video footage of littles and bigs in action and how Big Brothers Big Sisters of Utah had changed their lives, all the while reminding their supporters to participate. Most importantly, they surpassed their event goal. So sometimes seeing is believing. So we asked our friend Christy Curtis, event manager at Big Brothers Big Sisters of Utah, to share a bit about their switch to virtual fundraising with us.
Of Utah, and our organization focuses on one-to-one mentoring, matching kids we serve with a mentor who is more consistent in their lives than they normally have through various circumstances, whether it's they have a single parent or they have a refugee background or whatever the case may be. We work to match them with a mentor. And then our job on the funds development team is to raise money, and specifically with me through events, to support those matches throughout the year.
How do you use Qgiv's email integrations as part of your overall fundraising strategy?
We asked DonorPerfect, like, hey, we're in the market, we're just looking, like, who talks to your systems really well? And they said, well, we can't like advocate one or the other, but here's a list of who we've worked with that our system will talk to. So we looked at Qgiv and one other that of course I'm blanking on now, but that they had given us, and it kind of was crunch time. And so I was a fan of Qgiv when I spoke to the sales representative. And so I kind of got my fund development officer to sign off on that. And I said, I really like this one. It's super user friendly. Like, we've got to go, let's just do it. And the reasonable price for nonprofits was also a huge factor, because a lot of other platforms that we looked at were sometimes even double the price that Qgiv offers. And we also really love the option of being able to pay quarterly, whereas we don't do an event, every quarter. That was a really important piece for us and our agency.
How have you used Qgiv for peer-to-peer fundraising?
So for our peer-to-peer fundraising, we originally every spring do Bowl for Kids' Sake, and it is a live and online event for peer-to-peer. We got through one session of bowling, and then the major shutdown happened. So we had to we stalled for a little bit because we were like, oh, we'll be back. We'll do this again in the summer. But then, as we all know, COVID kept happening. The shutdown kept happening. So what we did is we decided to shift to, instead of Bowl for Kids' Sake, which was the title of that event, we shifted to Do Something for Kids' Sake. And this mainly came out of our Park City branch because they hadn't held any of their bowling sessions yet. And so what they decided to do is, hey, we were able to get outside. We were able to go hiking. We're stuck inside and we're playing video games all day because of we can't go out, we're immunocompromised, whatever the case may be. So they were able to take their teams that had registered and encourage them, hey, we want you to just do something for Kids' Sake. We're going to do it on this day. Whatever you do that day, raise money for that purpose for our programs. Here's the platform. And so it was really easy on our end as an administration end to just go in there, make those simple changes to wording or dates or whatever, and just lickety split, the event then shifted. Only challenge I would say really wasn't anything to do with the platforms that we were using. It was just like, hey, how do we get people engaged? Our event was in November, and by then a lot of people had like virtual event fatigue. They just weren't as into it. So how can we get people engaged? So formatting our event so that there was entertainment. We had the theme was Magical Night In. We had a magician, we had a band, we had a violinist. So we filmed as much of that ahead of time as we could. We rolled those segments throughout, or streamed them throughout the night. And then we'd go back to the host live where she would say, hey, now take a minute, go and bid on some items. Let me show you 5 that have no bids right now and you could win them like that. And so she was able to pull that up, and we could easily direct people to those items that she was mentioning and showing. And then keeping it really short, keeping it under an hour was kind of our goal. And by doing that, and then some additional pieces that we have done throughout, which is opening the auction up ahead of time, and then trying to, so in the past, our auction has only been available to those who are at the event. If you want to bid, you got to be there. This time, being virtual, we were like, okay, well, let's open it up to everybody. So we advertised that. If you can't join the live stream, that's fine. Go ahead and jump on and bid and participate in the auction. So then this year, where the event itself is going to be live, and so you can go to the event, we are keeping the auction piece open to anyone. So anyone who, even if you don't feel comfortable coming live, you can still jump on again and join the auction.
How did you use Fund a Need in your fundraising strategy?
So the thing that I would probably say about Fund a Need, which is going to be kind of a new experience for us doing it live, since last year was the first year we used Qgiv, and we just were able to use the platform directly from our live stream. And we were able to put, through our AV team, we were able to put the link for the Fund a Need right on in the instructions, like right on the screen. So if they were watching on their phones, they could just go and do it immediately. Hopefully they were watching like on their computers, they could go and do the Fund a Need. But we went back to it a couple of times throughout the night and said, hey, just so you remember, all of this money goes straight to the matches, to supporting those matches. It doesn't go to our overhead costs. It doesn't go to anywhere. We kept going and saying that, and kept showing the link again to do that paddle raise, do that Fund a Need. So the thing that I would say was key for us with virtual is that we sort of shopped those bids ahead of time. We knew exactly who was going to, who has bid in the past. We were able to pull some of those reports and then invite them. Hey, we're doing this paddle raise again the night of. Can you jump on and can you do your bid during this hour so that our thermometer goes through the roof? And they said, yes, we can. And so that's how we kind of got the thermometer moving. And the other thing that was really great was we were able to look at, here's the thermometer for our Fund a Need, here's the thermometer for our overall, and compare them throughout the night. And I think it got that excitement that you normally have of a live event. It got that built a little bit in the virtual space so that people were excited to bid.
And do you have any advice for fundraisers considering virtual or hybrid events?
Do you know what? I was not a fan at first. I really fought it because I was like, no, we're going to be live. We're not planning this. But my fund development officer said, you know, in the end, this is the only way where we can for sure control this event. And when she put it that way, that's when I got on board, because I was like, she's right. If you want to control the results, you can't control when a pandemic is going to strike. You can't control if the building you're hosting this event in is going to catch fire. You can't control if your caterer falls sick the day of, or whatever the case. And you can scramble for some of those things, but the only way to truly control it is to do the virtual space, and for you to be in the driver's seat of as many pieces as possible.
So as you just heard, the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Utah did a great job being creative and innovative, and they used technology to pivot very quickly to save 2 popular and prosperous events from being canceled. So a quick recap. In 2020, they made the move to hybrid and virtual events. They did move to an open virtual registration format. And with a few small tweaks, they created 2 inclusive events that garnered more support. That auction was the second highest fundraiser in the history of their organization. They also successfully engaged supporters. They included having a big and a little match share their personal story, and they absolutely used their database and made sure to do personal outreach to previous year's supporters and ask for their participation. They involved their supporters by sharing their fund and need and event goals and status in live stream updates and individual thermometers. So, in summary, virtual and hybrid events have proven to be great additions to the calendar. And for nonprofits, that means more opportunities to fundraise without breaking the bank or a sweat. Virtual events have proven flexible, cost-effective, and easily planned versus their in-person counterpart. And even though people are looking forward to reconnecting at traditional galas and parties, having a virtual fundraising event in the arsenal certainly doesn't hurt. Why? Well, unlike in-person events, virtual events are accessible to more people. And no matter the current state of affairs, with this format, you are able to host your planned fundraising event. There will always be fixed costs, but this format has no travel costs, venue setup, event breakdown fees, and it reduces or eliminates items like decor, gift bags, music, catering, and venue rental. It allows for creativity. And make it a new event. The virtual audience has a lot of distractions, so make them part of the experience. Having an annual flagship event is never a bad idea, but just in case the timing doesn't work, having a virtual event in the rotation gives your supporters more options to attend and support you. In-person events are absolutely more challenging in keeping track of the activity of each attendee, and virtual events offer the real-time user activity data and contact information. They also give planners more time to focus on event programming, building sponsorships, and creating a smooth attendee experience. And they offer limitless ways to build sponsor packages. So all of the information Big Brothers Big Sisters of Utah collected from participants and donors during the event was captured in Qgiv and exported into their DonorPerfect CRM to fill out their donor profiles and giving history. The integration is straightforward with just a few main steps, but there are a ton of customization options that you can do to be sure your data is flowing into DonorPerfect properly based on your different use cases. On the back end of Qgiv, setting up the integration is really simple. You can easily configure the integration to map the data collected on Qgiv forms to the appropriate campaign or solicitation in DonorPerfect with the mapping interface that you see here. You can also add custom mappings. These mappings allow you to dictate which target objects and fields you want to go into DonorPerfect. There are 3 custom mapping types: static, custom field, and standard field. And for each type, you can map to a target object plus field using the data from that custom type. It's a simple setup to export donor contacts from Qgiv events and auctions into DonorPerfect. Event and auction attendee status in DonorPerfect is updated automatically when it's changed in Qgiv, and it makes creating and tracking those records easy across your Qgiv and DonorPerfect accounts. I'm sure many of you aren't web designers and need to make changes on the fly. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Utah found that the peer-to-peer event builder made it easy for them to quickly switch their live event page to a virtual format. The simple drag and drop capabilities of the system saved them the time and money it would have to have hired a designer or a third party to help. And additionally, through Qgiv and DonorPerfect, they were able to very easily segment participants and reach out to them by phone, direct mail, email, social media. They targeted those who were registered for the event and reached out leading up to the event to encourage participation and fundraising activities. And now that the event is over, they are segmenting the outreach to thank those who participated and donated during the event. So managing a nonprofit, it takes patience, hard work, and above all, a lot of organization. It's important to put the time into searching for the right online fundraising platform as it has the potential to really boost your fundraising efforts. So there's so much to consider when choosing your digital fundraising partner. And we do appreciate that DonorPerfect did the research vetting and due diligence in selecting Qgiv as a technology partner for its customers. So whether you work with us now or in the future, we are here to help. And as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, Qgiv has been helping nonprofit organizations implement and grow their online fundraising programs since 2007. As the importance of online giving has grown, our mission has remained the same, and that is to help others fulfill their passion to make a difference. And you are at the center of everything we do. Our fundraising technology is designed to help you attract and retain more donors, save time, and raise more money by offering multiple ways of giving. So our comprehensive suite of powerful online fundraising tools includes donation forms, event registration, text fundraising and messaging, peer-to-peer fundraising, and auctions with mobile bidding. We also offer time-saving integrations with industry-leading CRMs, email automation tools, accounting programs, and matching gift platforms. So nonprofits like you can easily export your donor data from Qgiv into DonorPerfect and into the third-party programs you use to cultivate donor relationships and to send out your segmented communications. So you heard from one of our youth development friends, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Utah, and you saw a glimpse of how they use our platform. This is only a small sampling of what we can help you do. So all of this with no long-term contracts and try-as-you-go options, and you can experiment with new fundraising tools in these newly navigated times of virtual and hybrid events. We love being part of the nonprofit community and really appreciate being recognized as a partner and leader in the nonprofit space. We are, again, here to help people fulfill their passion to make a difference. And you've heard about the software platform, but we also want to share that we have a robust resource center with limitless fundraising resources and best practices, and they are free to anyone, anytime. You do not have to be a customer to use them. So take advantage of our blog articles, ebooks, templates, case studies, webinars, email series, and tips. And we hope you do check us out. If you have a fundraising need, let us know. We are here to help. We've covered a lot in our time together today, but you may still have questions about whether or not this platform is a good fit for your organization. And if you haven't already, please reach out and submit your questions. And again, thank you so much.